Welcome to the Andrew and Kelly Show. This is episode 10. And today we're going to be talking about, what's a good way to phrase it?
What it's like to grow up in Hawaii.
Yeah.
White, with
Yep.
white skin. Particularly in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s.
Yep. Pre-cell phones, pre-social media, pre-internet.
Pre-COVID, major influx of transplants to the community.
I think it started like in the 70s with the surf community.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it was,
But those were different kind of transplants.
yeah, those guys were bringing in a different,
They weren't
Well, they
super
were-
uber wealthy.
that's for sure.
They were poor surfers
Yep.
that were like hippies. Now we have like
Still getting pounded.
major billionaires like that have kind of created their own community where they don't
Yeah.
have any awareness to this problem, maybe slightly,
Oh no, they don't see anything but themselves.
and their
Unfortunately.
community.
And I think that this is a super judgmental statement, but I think there's truth to it as well. I don't even think that they care to see it.
No, I think they've isolated themselves in these like little pockets of community,
Yeah.
and they don't experience like the actual local community.
Or nor do they care to.
Yeah.
But that's just my judgment, and I could be totally off on that.
It kind of feels like they just want to be around the beautiful like scenes and environment and weather and that instead of like
And who wouldn't want to be
actually.
though? Who wouldn't?
No, I
wanna,
know. I'm
you
not blaming them. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's just a different, like when I was growing up here, my parents were, in the same income bracket as all the locals. So
Right.
I grew up in like a local neighborhood at a public school. It's like these parents or families, they'll be here for only a certain amount of time. And if they are, then they'll go to like the super rich private school or have their own homeschooling groups. So they're not really integrated in like the actual local community at all.
Yeah. I was just thinking about our kids. They go to a private, not private, but they did go to private school, and now they are homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
But we're very much so integrated into the community. But that's a different story, and that's a different topic in the sense of where we're from. We're born and raised here.
And maybe this episode will bring insights as to why we chose that for our children.
100%.
Yeah. Because we're both
There's
white.
different reasons.
This is only one reason why we chose that for our children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so let's just start with the hook. Most people assume that white people are the majority in most parts of America. But growing up in Hawaii, Kelly and I had very different experiences. We're the minority in our schools and communities, and race dynamics are shaped by history most people probably in the world, but America, don't fully understand, or even probably partially understand. They might partially, but first off, growing up, in school, we weren't taught in the history books. It didn't say nothing about our queen being overthrown and imprisoned in her own home. It didn't. I don't remember any of that. I was not taught that until later. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember being taught that in school. All I knew as a kid growing up was that I'm a haole. And I remember going home to my mom and being like, "Bruh, Mom, all these kids hate me. I don't know why. All I know is they call me haole." And my mom would tell me, "Just tell them that you're more Hawaiian than them."
I think that's so funny.
Yeah. So my mom would just be like, "Just tell them you're probably more Hawaiian than them. Ask them what their last name is and tell them your last name." And I was like, "Wait, what do you mean?" She's like, "You have more Hawaiian blood than probably majority of the kids calling you haole."
So how much percent Hawaiian was your dad?
My dad was over 50%. So my family in Oahu. They live in Nanakuli, or they're from Nanakuli. The Kakalia Ohana is from Nanakuli. And my dad's sister lives in Hawaiian homeland.
Yeah, but how much percentage of
So
your
you got to
dad?
be more than 50%. My dad was like 60%.
Yeah, so that makes you 30 or more.
Right.
Yeah.
30% or give or take.
But
So
it's
enough Hawaiian to this is how screwed up the whole Hawaiian homeland situation is. As far as I understand, which is not very much, the Native Americans figured out a way to get land and make sure that just any native blood was enough to get land and to have a place in your reservation, in your homeland, which there's got to be a lot of dirty wickedness to that as well. Like to be like, no, you can only be here. That alone is messed up. Like native land is native land, no matter where you are.
okay, so let's get back to like what we're
Yeah.
talking about, which is being white skin
Yeah.
in Hawaii. And even though you are Hawaiian, you're light skin.
Yep.
So it didn't matter because the
Oh, yeah.
kids aren't looking at your DNA report.
Exactly. They don't care about your last name. They look at
But
your skin.
it's funny
color.
because I remember specifically like being picked on so much, but I don't have Hawaiian, so I couldn't say I'm Hawaiian, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember there is
To even
Portuguese.
have to say that is pretty
It's
stupid.
silly.
Yeah.
And there's Portuguese people. I remember the same color and everything as me. And
Color
I
eyes, same color
same
skin.
everything, and they'd be like, "I'm Portuguese."
Yeah.
Like, if somebody, it's like they had something to be like, "Nope, don't call me a haole. I'm
Yeah.
Portuguese. Don't call me haole. I'm actually Hawaiian." I didn't
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah.
that, but to me, it's like it just was based on the color of your skin.
Yeah.
And I think I have so much to say about like how people think, you know, America is white this or white that. And I feel like, and not to get political, but we're about to get political here.
Good.
It's, I cannot stand this attack on white people right now. It's like if you're white, for some reason, you did something wrong.
Yeah.
You're so
Well,
wrong.
I
And
feel like that was like even more so a few years ago.
no,
with
it's
the
happening right
BLM and all
now.
that.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember the BLM movement. I'm like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, but White Lives Matter. Like where I grew up, I was like beat up, picked on, hated for the color of my skin.
Yeah.
And I'm not black, I'm white. Like, no, it really pissed me off.
No,
And
yeah,
then it's
I
like
know.
if you said like, no, all lives matter, for some reason
You're racist.
you're racist. And I'm like, no, everybody's racist against me.
Yeah.
You know,
Where
and
you
it's
grew
just
up.
calling, yeah.
Not everybody. You
Yeah,
don't wanna,
I know,
you don't wanna say,
but sorry, I'm going.
I'm
like-
a good chunk.
This one really drives deep for me. But seeing all these people now that are talking about white people this, white people that,
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are the racist people.
Right. But let's rewind. There is a perfectly good reason for it.
Because 100 years ago they overthrew
Yep.
whatever. I know, but
Yeah.
it's not because we are we now.
Right. But
And
people
that's where it's like when you talk about race, you
Yeah.
really have to be colorblind.
100%.
Otherwise, you're racist.
Right.
And
That's why I love the saying, wait, there is no race, but the human race. Like I think of just
100%.
reggae music. Like growing up in Hawaii, we listened to a lot of reggae music. And Peter Tosh and Bob would always just talk about the human race. It's just the human race.
Yeah,
Like,
I love that so much.
like there is no such thing as color.
No.
We're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
But we put ourselves in these tiny little circles and these blocks and bubbles that, no joke, all it's doing is not allowing you to grow.
100%. And for some reason, it
And,
makes you...
think about it. The enemy doesn't want you to grow.
No.
Yeah. He wants you stuck in a bubble.
And he wants people to always be looking at other people and judging and hating and like compartmentalizing people based off of the color of their skin
Yep.
or the amount of money they make, which we just did about the billionaires. And, you know, just it's all it is just creating these circles around people and throwing them in there and judging them based off of a certain thing.
And if you're really being honest about BLM, that is making it even more racist.
100%.
That's putting black people in a bubble again.
100%.
And straight up making people and allowing the opportunity to be even more racist. But yeah, that's a whole nother trip too.
100%. And that's why I think for us, like growing up here white and having, being hated because of the color of our skin and being treated differently and being like outcasts, it's shaped me into the person who I am, who can see through that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really frustrating, and it wasn't, like we didn't deserve it and it's not fair, but I also understand the other side too.
Yep.
That it happened because there's like these generational like pain,
deep-seated
like pain,
yeah,
from what happened here in Hawaii,
which is straight up very like
legit.
Justifiable.
Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah, it's
like,
legit.
It was so sad what happened to the indigenous Hawaiian people here.
And if you think about, not to interrupt you, but to add on, humans are just a creature of habit, right? And we need to be able to learn from our past histories and past mistakes so we don't repeat them. If all you know about white people is some bankers came in, took your land, screwed your family over, then tourists come in and all they want to do is get in your space and see this and see that.
And damage your reefs and take from your environment.
That's going to create a lot of like, get away from me, I do not like you.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's totally justifiable.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been like that towards people. Even being white here, I've been racist or hated. Not
white
hated,
people?
White people. So it's like weird. Like there's so many different dynamics to the topic. Yeah. But it's true. It's like growing up here in the 90s, it looked a lot different. Even though I was hated, for some reason, I have like some ownership of this place, like this is my stomping grounds. Yep. Like how's these tourists coming over here, or how's these transplants coming and moving over here and driving up the cost of the housing. Yep. And kicking out all of my classmates and all of my friends. Can I even afford to live here? So then I get frustrated at other people, you know, because they're wealthy, because they can afford it, because, it's like, there's so many, like, so it's really, you gotta check yourself at every single, like, thought or mindset and, like, try to understand why you're thinking that. And that's why I want to give, like, the Hawaiians, like, that's why they get frustrated with white people. Because...
Well, think about the fact that they were, like, dude, they got taken out by Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese.
I don't think they got taken out by them. They came to like work on plantations.
I shouldn't say taken out.
It got developed because of those communities.
Well, this is on another level. When your race blends with other races, your race starts to disappear, right?
Yeah.
So they did Hawaiians almost did get taken out in that fact. Right? How many pure Hawaiians are there?
There's like none.
Right. Why?
Because
they probably died from people coming in, sicknesses they weren't used to or whatnot, and then breeding with other nationalities.
It is just the way of the world.
That is. I mean, it's true.
But if you think about, like, I like the point you're making, because when you watch these, like we were just watching a YouTube video of the guy, Mike OK, and he was in, where was he eating the betel nut?
Oh, Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, and there's so many indigenous people there. Oh, and it's like all indigenous.
Yeah.
So there are places that are not like, their bloodline is still strong and growing in places like that. But here in Hawaii, it's true. Like, it's like it opened up for the world.
Which is a beautiful thing.
It is.
I gotta make sure that I'm not coming out saying like, oh, it's poor thing, but it's a beautiful thing
I
that
mean,
the
because you
Hawaiians
are an example of that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our children.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing that in that sense, the melting pot of Hawaii and people coming in and like basically growing the place.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
Hawaii,
if
and
that's how
even with all of the developments that's even happened in the last like 5 or 6 years, like this is a beautiful place. Like
yeah.
of course it has its cons. Like it's very expensive. Like that's pretty major, and things aren't like they were. I mean, there's sad things. Like it's just the culture is shifting so much since, especially like noticeably COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, remote workers coming here, which it is like that for many beautiful places around the United States.
I want to say something real quick before I forget. I like even now I noticed a lot of influencers that are from Hawaii or Hawaiian that like they'll only interview other Hawaiians, and it seems like they're trying to create a culture of hate again, and like a resurgence of Hawaiian pride or Hawaii pride, which of course there's pros and cons of, but it just really like bugs me. And I think it's from because I was so picked on for being white. It bugs me when there's people that will push a narrative of Hawaiians only, F you.
So, yeah, I agree.
Because because people that are doing that, they're not pure Hawaiian. Like there's
Nobody's
guys that
pure
are
Hawaiian.
right.
There's
There's
I
guys.
know like the Kinimakas, like
Right. There's very few. Like the
like
Chandlers out in Haiana,
yeah,
and then the
Sindel's
Kinimakas, and like
husband. Yeah,
very
there's like
few, and then people from
yeah,
the Kanaheles. That's like
yeah,
like there's, and we know their last names. That's how
yeah,
few there are. I'm sure there's a lot. There's more. I'm
yeah.
sure, but
No, I get it. There was this one guy, one of
it
my
trips me out.
classmates, who is not, he's not even half Hawaiian. And he started a clothing brand, and you can only be Hawaiian to purchase like his jacket.
So choke of his family can't even buy his jackets.
Yeah, like half of his family.
Literally, his family can't buy it.
Yeah.
See, that's
his mom cannot buy it.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off. Like, what?
Wait, but
why are we going to grow racism and hatred when that is straight up going backwards on all parts of humanity? Like, if you're a scientist and you believe in frickin' evolution, you're fully going against your beliefs.
Okay.
And if you're a Christian or a Muslim or any religion, that's going against. Well, except for maybe radical Islam. That's different. But you're like, yeah, you're not going with the flow of humanity.
Yeah. But it brings up Kamehameha schools.
Why? What happened?
Are they racist?
Oh, well, I would say no because it's the Queen's. Well, and yeah, okay. So I'm gonna answer that question. I say no because it's a school that the Queen set up and said, "I want my children."
The Bishop Estate, which is Kauahi, which I think is the niece.
Oh, okay.
I think I
thought
know.
it was okay. I don't know.
I'm horrible with this, and I should know it.
Right? We should know this. It was a school set up for Hawaiians, and that's why not? Why shouldn't the Hawaiians have a school in the land?
And it was.
That's how in their land.
And it was at a time where Hawaiians were
Hawaii.
Where
Which
Hawaiians
one? Who cares?
it was like at a time where the state was set up and the school system was set in place to benefit Hawaiians because they weren't educated, because there weren't as many opportunities as the transplants that were moving here at the time, and there.
Yeah, I
so
don't
it
know
was
any
like
of it.
it's like It's like, imagine like there was an epic, like super epic school here in Kauai, but only like locals could go to it
Yeah.
and not the billionaire kids.
That'd be great.
It was kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I would say that's a good thing. And I believe deeply that, and I know you do too, that just like if you want to come to Hawaii and go to school, if you want to go to college, you don't get you don't get to pay the resident uh, price, which is thousands of dollars
Yeah.
a year less, unless you've been a resident in Hawaii for a allotted amount of time. What is it, five,
I
ten
think it's
years?
10 years.
So 10 years. I think that people shouldn't be able to come here and buy land. I think you
100%.
should be able to move here, be a resident for this amount of time, and then then it's okay to buy land.
Yeah, they should have like big mansions and neighborhoods of mansions like Kukui'ula where you can like rent there,
That's a great idea.
but you can't buy there.
Like you can
But
have
you
your
could rent
spot.
there for 10 years and then you can go buy, you know? But you have to be a full time resident and all of the money goes back to the community.
Yeah.
And they only hire locals to work at those places.
Which a lot of those places currently. So besides the fact that people can come in and move and buy all this land, and there goes all of our classmates, they're living in Henderson or
Idaho.
Idaho or Arizona, which are all beautiful places. And from what I know, I haven't been there. I've heard stories that it's like more local people are living there in these communities, and it's more like unity and togetherness there than it is when they come back home.
I agree. It's kind of like.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but that's what I've heard from people that live there.
So when I was on Oahu, going to college, it's funny because when you're living on Kauai, there's like east side, west side, north shore. There's all these different sides, and there's
You're
like
from
beef.
you're
Yeah.
from the east,
And then you're like beefing, you know?
Yeah.
And then you go to Oahu, and if you're from Kauai, it doesn't matter what side you're from, you're like homies because you're both from Kauai. And then it's like, but what island are you from? You know, got the beef kind of.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you move to the mainland and it doesn't even matter what island
yeah.
you're from. You're like, you're from Hawaii, you know? So it's like the further away you move, the
Yeah.
more unity for some reason.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, so you kind of mentioned like when you first realized you were like the minority growing up here was.
It was just in school, and I was like, whoa, I'm like the only white kid in here. But at the same time, I don't think it was like when so I just got a picture. I'll put it in our podcast, but I just got a picture sent to me from one of my classmates, Janelle. She sent
Yeah.
was it kindergarten?
It might have been preschool. Oh no, kindergarten.
It was our kindergarten class, King Kaumuali'i School, and I was like, dang, we were the only white kids. There's like 4 of us,
Yeah.
4 or 5, and of course, when you're a child, you don't know, like you don't think about stuff like that, which just made me think like maybe that's why Jesus is like be like a child.
Yeah.
Like you don't think about that kind of stuff. You're just living. And you might get some hate thrown at you and then you realize.
Yeah.
Like you might get beat up, punched.
So I
pushed,
guess when
bullied.
did you realize that you were the minority? Is there like a specific incident like or instance or time period where you were like, whoa?
I don't remember like
For background, Andrew's dad passed away when he was young.
Yeah, I was
so
only
he
2 years
didn't
old.
have like a dark Hawaiian man raising him.
Yeah.
So he didn't have like the identity of being dark. Like his parents were white.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my biological dad died when I was 2. And then my dad, who I call dad now, Dave, didn't come into my life till I was like 7 or 8.
And he's white.
And he's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
He's a British guy from New Zealand. And I remember as a kid, even that, brah, I remember being so racist up against my own dad because he's white. and I wanted a Hawaiian dad, you know,
Yeah.
like, so that's,
I remember you telling me like you would look up to the uncles that were brown
yeah,
and you just wanted like a brown uncle, you
yeah,
know,
to be fully like my soccer coach was like my dad
because he was brown.
because he treated me as a son. And
Yeah.
I mean, he was a big local guy.
I
Uncle
guess not
Vince
because he's
Lugmai.
brown,
No,
but
not
you know.
because he's brown, but that made it that much better, of
Yeah.
course. I'm like, yeah, this is my dad. And that's all because of environment and where I was. And that's crazy to think that. Like, I don't want to get past that. That's so sad that I felt that way as a child.
Yeah.
Like, no one told me to think like that.
Well, that's what I was
But that's
thinking
how I
when you
thought.
were saying a child, because I feel like in the younger years, like a lot of those aren't really set in, but I notice it like as you get a little bit older, you know, like I notice the kids are like howly, you know, like, and
Yeah.
that comes from it's passed down,
Yeah.
you know, and within your environment. Like, how's that
100%.
howly, you know,
Yeah.
like, or, you know, like, so it
It's so let's distinguish between howly and effing howly. Like there's a difference. Then like you can just be like, oh yeah, howly guy, this howly guy, like, oh yeah, this howly guy Ron, he the kind blah, blah, this and that. It's not saying they're not.
because
That's
I say
something
howly as like a descriptive.
right.
It's like,
It's a descriptive because it means white
yeah.
or not from here,
No,
or
yeah.
like it can be not from here. It can be effing howly, or it can
The
be just
literal
the howly
meaning
guy.
of haole
Howle.
means, yeah, haole, which is
But everyone says howly.
haole, is without breath.
Yeah.
Like ha was
Your breath.
your breath, and yeah, so ole means without, which is kind of a crazy meaning to call somebody without breath is kind of like in itself that word is
It's
like
deep.
super like
It's layered too.
yeah.
Like without breath can mean you're like dead. You're white. Gas like you're like white. You're dead. You're
Or you
dead.
don't have the spirit
Or you
or
are without without
yeah.
the breath of life.
Yeah. So that in like that is a derogatory like word when you really think about like the breakdown of it.
Completely.
But people do use that to describe a white person.
Yeah, just like popolo is to describe a black person.
Yeah.
Like it's not being racist. You're not being racist. And there's a lot of people that use the word haole or haole as a non-racist thing. Like you're just saying, oh yeah, this haole guy was helping me with changing my tire.
But like just
Super
like
nice haole guy.
any word you in any language, the manner of like the way you're speaking it, it can change the meaning. Because you don't have to say F and howle for it to mean bad. You could say, how's that howle? You know, like,
Right.
and like your voice tone, your body mannerisms, all of that, it can easily change into a really mean word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
But I want to get back to like when we realized like because I remember distinctly
I was
growing
probably
up.
8 years old no, I was probably like 5, 6.
I remember distinctly like I feel like in the early years there's so many different cultures in Hawaii. It's so beautiful. But yeah, white people, especially when I was a little girl, I was like one of like 3 in my class. You know, like it was like definitely like I was different.
Yeah.
In my neighborhood, I remember there was 0 white people. Like
Same.
I was like
Or no, there was there was 2
yeah,
when
well,
I was a kid.
and I didn't know any different, you know, and so
Dude, I wasn't even allowed in my friend's house. Like other little kids that weren't white could go into their house, but not me.
Huh.
Yeah.
So but so I remember my parents, I was in kindergarten and I had a best friend named Gab, and we were playing soccer together in kindergarten, and she was also dancing hula, and of course I was like, "Ooh, I want to dance hula too," you know? And so my parents signed me up for hula, and that's when I was like, "Holy crap, I'm white." Like, you know. They
Whoa, I'm
even
different.
they even named, and I remember the Kuma, bless him, I love him so much. He was so loving to
Kelly
me.
danced for Kumumaka for 12 years.
13.
13 years.
From 5
Little
to
background.
18. But
Wow.
when my first year there, I remember I remember a couple of the moms were like, she can't be in Hoike, like she doesn't know what she's doing, like so mean to me. I remember crying.
Heavy.
Like it was super sad for me. Like, and now the aunties are really, really nice to me because I stuck it out. Like I didn't quit. I just kept going, and now they love me so much. Like every time I see them, they're so happy. But I remember the first few years, it was really hard for me
Heavy.
because I was definitely like set out. Like I was an outcast, and it was like, like they didn't want a white girl on the stage.
Yeah.
Like it was really hard for me. That was when I was like really felt it. But that was just the first time I remember. And then of course, like throughout my life, like I was always like the Holly girl. And I just hated that. Like I just hated being called that all the time. Like in soccer, or like I remember even some of my friends would be like, "Oh, this is my Holly friend." Like I'm just like, "Why do you have to say that?" Like,
Yeah.
or like somebody be like, "Who's that Holly girl?"
Yeah.
Like it just sucks. It's just,
It's
and you
always
could
going to be
be,
the description of who you are. It's going to
yeah.
be the first. It's crazy how that's the first thing everyone sees.
I even got in fights because I was white.
That's basic.
Yeah.
That's like automatic.
People would pick on me, and I'll be like, not let them pick on me.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to dig into that. So, unfortunately, when you're hated for the way you look right off the bat, it doesn't matter what your hair looks like, if you're good looking, if you're bad looking, it matters what color your skin is. And that can determine whether you're going to get punched in the face for just standing there. And so, what will that do to a human? Let's break down psychology a little bit. What do you think would happen to a person when they're put into a scenario where every time they go somewhere, they're looked at differently, looked down upon, talked to down upon, over and over and over and over and over for years and years?
I think one of two things: fight or flight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you will either find a group of people that look like you and you will not deviate.
Or you become depressed and like commit suicide.
Okay? Totally. Or you will stick it out where you're at and you're going to learn to have a resentment and a built up aggression. Okay, this is for me. This is why I'm saying this. I had a resentment for people that would call me Haole or Haole. Sorry for wanting to say it properly. I built up a resentment, and as soon as I heard somebody say that, I would snap. And I wouldn't snap verbally, but I would get heated and I would wait for the person to do something or act in a certain way because I was ready to fight. Like immediately. It would heat and it which sucks. It sucks because I've been into so many fights because of the color of my skin, and I've been cruising with friends having a good time at a party, which I mean I shouldn't have been partying anyway, but at a party and just get punched really hard. They call it getting side blinded, or I don't know, false crack is the probably the most local term. False crack medevac. And by the grace of God, I have a good chin, so I would take gnarly hits and I wouldn't get knocked out because, dude, people get killed, people die, people get mobbed. Like I got mobbed multiple times, and by the grace of God, I would run away because I'm not stupid. And yeah, you'd have to fight for yourself, defend yourself as much as you could, but majority of the time, you get mobbed by 5+ guys and you have to run or you're gonna die. And I remember the one of the last times I got mobbed, the next weekend another kid got mobbed, another Howley boy got mobbed and he died. And of course, no one goes to jail. No one gets held responsible for it. That's just the way it goes. And that easily could have been me. Easily. And yeah, I'm sure I deserved it at times, but I cannot recall ever doing something that justified that kind of response to me. Like one time I accidentally spilled a drink on a girl, and that was enough for me to get mobbed. And I would say, yeah, I kind of deserved to get punked out, but definitely not mobbed by like 10 guys. That's over the top.
It's a totally different standard.
Yeah, totally different standard. If that was one of the boys or one of the bratas,
Yeah.
it would have been like, hey, you dummy, you better buy my freaking chick a new dress or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But so it's gonna build up this tension in you, and you're gonna either be like that your whole life, or you're gonna, by the grace of God, I was able to just grow up and realize how stupid it was, and get out of it and not live in that way. But like, it's a thing in Hawaii. If you're the light skinned dude or white, the one haole guy that's in the crew of local boys, most of the time that guy's like the craziest dude, or he's got something to like prove. You know what I mean?
You know what's something that I've thought so many times, but I've never verbalized it to you?
Huh.
Which I think it's funny I'm doing it in front of an audience.
An audience of like 2.
Whatever. But sometimes I wonder if you wish that you were with a brown girl and had brown kids.
Of course I do. No, you're so dumb.
Because it's like,
oh my
we're
gosh.
both white and we'll
Yeah.
go to parties and we're like the white family. And sometimes I'm like, I wonder if Andrew wishes like he had a brown wife so that his kids were brown. You know, like kind of like how you said like you wish your dad was brown.
Yeah. No, yeah, you can, but you can't, what's the word? You can't control who you fall in love with.
I know, but do you wish I was brown?
You're hilarious. No, I don't. I wouldn't change anything about you. Why would I want you to change colors? You know what I mean? Like,
because of all this.
No, yeah. This is hilarious. Sorry. I'm just cracking up because she's putting me on the spot in front of a camera.
That's why I said.
I don't think I've ever I don't think I would have married you or fallen in love with you if that's how I felt. Like I feel that though. Like when we go to a party, when we ever go to pretty much every party,
so
we're the white family, and I'm just, there's nothing that will, even if I had a brown wife and brown kids, I would still feel that. I'd be like, dang.
No way.
It
would not be like that. Because they would look at you and they'd be like, oh, he's not white. You know, like.
Yeah, right. They'd be like, how's this haole guy with this local girl? Who
no way. They would take a second look at you if you had brown wife.
I don't know.
I think so. Because
I can tell you.
Because you are darker than like a regular white guy. And you
not right now. I'm so pale. I haven't been to the beach.
Okay, but months. Listen, we have a friend who grew up white, but she has brown hair and a little bit of olive color skin, and she married a very dark Hawaiian guy. Nobody thinks she's a haole.
Who?
And they have 3 brown kids, and they don't like. She'll fit in more. You know what I mean? So you are like definitely the same skin tone as she is.
Huh.
But so anyway, to me, and I will be like completely honest, sometimes I wish our kids were a little darker. And that's me being racist to my own kids because of this like upbringing.
I've never thought that, like, dang, I wish my kids were dark. But I mean, I guess yes and no. The only reason, you want to know if my funny reason why? Is because they get so sunburnt and it trips me out like they're going to get freaking skin cancer because they love the ocean.
Yeah.
Like it trips me. That's like the only thing.
Okay.
But
I think
it's because, no joke, brah, I think it was like a gift from God that I was able to be released from it, because it was such a heavy thing for me for so long. Like, it was so heavy.
I think I feel like that about my kids because I don't want them to experience what I experienced.
Yeah.
And sorry, it sucks. Like, but I think like,
Even though one of our boys definitely, I mean, I'm sure both our boys have, our
and
older
then
boys.
it's like I hate that they have to say I'm Hawaiian. Like, what's your last name? Like, I hate that they have to like,
Explain something.
yeah,
That's stupid too.
it's
Like,
that
I mean,
who
yeah.
they are. Like, I don't want to teach them that. Like, but I understand what they're going through. Like, and one of our kids, like specifically, he almost got mobbed in front of us.
Yeah.
And it was because he's basically really good at sports and he's white.
Yeah. You're not allowed to be white and schooling the little local boys.
Yeah.
It's funny because Cliffy's a full-on local boy, but when you say local boys, you know what I mean.
Like brown boys.
Yeah.
You can't be a white boy who's nutser than the brown boys. Or else you're a haole and you're going to get mobbed.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but this is just like, this is just within a very small, I just want to make sure people know that this is not everybody.
no,
This
we
is,
don't hang out with people who behave like this.
right.
And we try to avoid situations where there is ignorant, like pain ridden humans that
Yeah.
behave like this.
Right.
Like, of course, we went to public school and the communities we lived in, we could not choose, you know?
Can I get into this a little bit too? Like, I think that's why I dove so heavy into drug use, is because I was like trying to be gnarly, and I like kind of had to be gnarly because that gave me respect.
That's how I was too.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't gonna just be the Holly girl. Like, I wanted to be nuts.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now she's nuts, you know?
Like I would, yeah. I don't like, I mean, it's silly to talk about it, and like, I don't want to glorify stuff, but I would do things that like get into fights and like really hurt people, and like,
so that you had that respect.
Yep.
Because you didn't get respect from what you looked like.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so down to fight, and I didn't even care if I got pounded. I just wanted it. Like, I just
Yeah.
wanted to just brawl and hurt people.
Yeah.
And like, I knew I could take cracks, and I wouldn't even, like, I didn't even care. If I could smash someone's face, I was like, it gave me so much joy. And it's like, how disgusting is that? That's like so messed up. And it's like, I don't know, bro. It sucks. Like, and it's a weakness that I still have, where I'll think of guys because I know them by name and face, and I'll think of them at times of weakness where I'm like, brah, I know all the guys that mobbed me, and I would wreck every single one of them if they all wanted to step up. Like, that's what I think in my mind now today. It's like, brah, I would kill them, like, without a problem. No problem. Every single one of them. And that's so childish to like think that way and like want to find them, seek them out, and do what they did to me.
Okay,
Like,
so let's.
which means not give them a chance to defend themselves and just attack them. And I know what would happen because I know what I can do now. Like, this was after years of training. You know what I mean? Like, that. How stupid would that be? It's so childish and so stupid. And why is that there? Why is that in me?
I think because we're all growing humans, and the first thing is like recognizing it.
Totally.
And
like,
then
that is disgusting
verbalizing
for
it.
me to think that way.
I don't
it
think
bums me out.
And I think I have silly thoughts too. And I think
Yeah.
just being able to like, just being able to recognize how silly and stupid they are and how they set you back and, growing
Yeah.
is growth.
Yeah.
So I just think, and unfortunately, there's so many people that are just stuck,
Yeah.
and then it gets passed down to their kids and their kids and their kids.
Totally.
You
Like,
know?
the last thing I want is instill a mindset into my kids where they have to be the nuts guy, and they have to go and defend themselves at every freaking moment and pound guys and this and that. But at the same time, it's like there is a dichotomy there. Like, where do you allow someone to bully, talk down to you, and like abuse you, before you have to stand up for yourself and defend yourself in a physical matter? Like, yeah, defend yourself verbally, defend yourself physically if you have to, but like,
It's such
don't
a
have
fine
like
line.
don't
Yeah.
have like a readiness to have to pounce or jump or attack or be this guy or
Try to prove something.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think like when
It's a tribal place. Like, it's a very tribal land.
this place,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hawaii is a very tribal, like
I do want to
my tribe,
recognize.
your tribe, like that kind.
I do want to recognize how different it is now. Like if you go and look at like a public school now compared to
Bro,
the
guys are
90s,
still scrapping.
yeah, but there's more
Not the
white
same.
people.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
true
like
too.
less of a minority. You know, I think there's definitely still like racism and discrimination, but it's less so, I think now.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think if you look at like I look at the kids at school and it's not like, oh, there's only like four, like it's not,
Yeah.
there's like way more like
Well,
white
once
people.
we got into high school, there's a lot more white people.
Dude, I remember distinctly because I was on the east side for elementary school, and then Kapaa School is also the east side. Middle school, sixth grade, we had just the same kids basically from elementary. And then in seventh grade, the North Shore Public School, all of the kids, because the North Shore Public School goes up to sixth grade, so in seventh grade they all came to Kapaa School, and the North Shore had like way more white kids. Like
Yeah.
on the east side, I was like one of four. North Shore, there's like 50% white people over there. And I remember distinctly on the first day of seventh grade being like, whoa, I'm not like the one of four white kids. There's like 100 of them here. I was like tripping. Like
That's
that,
so
I would never forget that day. I was like, yes, there's more
That's
white kids.
so funny.
And then
Yeah.
all the East Siders, you know, they're all like local, like dark skin.
Well, then
And then they're like, oh, that's our white girl. You
I was
know?
just gonna
So I was like, yes, I'm like in now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so funny. I was just gonna say that there was a distinction between you
And then
and then that's the North Shore freaking Howdy.
yeah, this
like
is our
so
white
messed
girl.
up. It's so deep. There's so many layers to it.
I know.
And yeah, the history repeats itself. And if that's the way you're gonna be at home and that's the way you live, then your children are gonna be that way.
And so that's why we do have to like bring up and recognize again, like just how sad it was for the Native Hawaiians and what happened. Because and it wasn't that long ago, you know?
No.
So it's like if you're talking about how you felt and like how you had something like, you know, this hatred and like this build up because of the way you're treated, like imagine like, you know, great grandma
Yeah.
was part of the generation where they locked up the queen in
Yeah.
her palace and overthrew the government of Hawaii.
Yeah.
You know, like that was like, what the, and like, you know, so great grandma
And her saying to her people, "Hey, I don't want you to fight."
yeah.
Like, and they listened.
No, the queen.
Get it.
There's a mosquito. The queen was amazing, and she was so full of wisdom,
And she was a very
and she was full of the
Christ-centered
spirit.
woman. Yeah.
So the way that she led her people was amazing. But it's true. What happened was really sad, and it was like
They didn't. Bro, the Hawaiians never even had an opportunity to fight for themselves because their queen said no.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is like
No. I
generational-
understand that, and I think it's because she understood on a deeper and more wisdom based and maybe prophetic level of dude, if you guys fight, they're just going to kill all of us.
Yeah.
They're going to kill all of us, and there's going to be no Hawaiian people on Oahu. And maybe they would have went throughout the state and killed all of us,
Yeah.
or all of them.
Yeah. So all of these generations, you know, they were upset for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, and then
it's not a yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the same thing with like the Native Americans or the Maoris or, you know, African Americans. They were brought over as slaves. Like, there are bad things that happen to races.
Yeah.
Especially 100 years ago. And like, so there are these, you know, like generations that carry this pain that comes from a legitimate reason, but where does it stop?
Right.
You know, and where do we just be like, why do I have to suffer because something happened 100 years ago?
Yeah.
It wasn't even my choice to move here. You know, like, my parents moved here when I was 1. Like, I didn't have any choice in that. It's not my fault, but I'm getting punished because I'm white and because your queen was overthrown 100 years ago or 60 whatever years ago, which is super sad. And like, I never ever wish that upon any government, any people, any land.
Yeah.
But why do I get punished for that? And
yeah, we do not believe in the overthrow or extinction of any people.
No.
Yeah. Straight up.
Yeah.
I think that's satanic and disgusting.
So, raising our kids here, things are a little bit different. There still is definitely discrimination towards white people, and our kids are white, and we are in parts of the community like where we are the only white people at times.
Yeah. I want to say something after. I don't want to forget.
Yeah, say it.
I think that's why we like leaving too.
Oh,
sometimes. Yeah. Like, so if me and Kelly just started walking around some neighborhood where we don't live and we don't know people, you're gonna get a lot of stares. Like, who is this? And yeah, you'll probably get some.
Depends
waves.
What neighborhood.
Yeah, it depends where. Like,
yeah.
We know people everywhere, and we know a lot of people, of course, being born and raised here. But if you go to a neighborhood where you don't know anyone, people are gonna be like, "Who's these guys?
Who's these howlies?
Yeah, who's these freaking guys coming in here? Did they just buy that house over there? You know, like freaking howlies." But
or how's these howlies walking around the block? We're, you know, like, we're definitely outcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we were walking around this neighborhood in Tahoe, and like, no joke, everybody's waving. We're waving to people, and everyone's waving back. And like,
nobody's
smiling.
Questioning why we're walking there.
And I was like, oh, it's a trip, being the right color.
I remember saying that to someone. Bro. Somebody asked me.
It's so funny, like, cause that's real. Like, I was like taken back, like, whoa, everyone's so nice, you know? And then I was like,
because we're white.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh yeah.
So I guess, like,
that's so weird to think that, though. Like, what? Why does our brain have to go there? And it's because that's how we were raised, bro. We were raised in a trippy, like I don't know how normal, like, what is a normal growing up, you know, for white people in the mainland? Is race even a thing, or is it a thing that has been stirred up and brought up again with all of this foolishness that happens in the world? You got a mosquito right here, other side. Sorry, it's gone.
Okay, but listen, now we're being closed-minded because...
No, I'm not being...
No. I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But what you're saying reminds me of, like, my friend's girlfriend is a white girl who grew up in a part of Florida where she was, like, one of 2 white people. And the rest were black.
Okay.
So there are other places in the United States where it's minority white.
Yeah.
And
Minority. Yeah.
I'm
Minority.
sure I don't know what her experience was growing up in that neighborhood, but I think racism exists against all colors and all people, all races in different, like, where depending where you are. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, like, I'm sure in some parts, like, you could be a Mexican and people are going to be racist against you, or be black and people are going to be racist against you, or be white and people are going to be racist against you, or be Japanese and people are going to be racist. And my friend is a Filipino and he, like, experiences the worst racism.
Mm.
Like, so there's
Yeah.
racism against all races depending on where you are.
Yeah. I guess it is a thing still.
Yeah. But for us, like, I definitely in a very unique situation, I think, growing up here. Um,
I guess it's not unique. I guess it is being in Hawaii, but if it's going on around the world or around the
okay,
country, then it's
so,
not
but I
unique,
think the
but it's
reason why it's unique is because, like, my friend's girlfriend who grew up in Florida, she would be racist. Like, people would be racist. If they were racist against her, it was just because she was, like, one of two.
okay.
It wasn't because
Oh, because
they
of
were overthrown, and, so it's
it
like
wasn't because of a deep-seated what happened.
generations ago.
Yeah.
So, like,
But it is though because it, I mean, if you want to get deep and go back into history about black slavery and I mean, don't get me wrong, we've learned now with history and the internet, there was slaves of all color
yeah,
and there was slave owners of all color.
yeah,
There was black people who owned slaves. There was white people who owned slaves. There was Asian people who owned slaves. There was Israeli people who owned slaves. There was all kinds of colors that owned slaves of all kinds of colors.
yeah. And it wasn't just in America.
No.
The Spaniards,
Oh, it was yeah, it was
the
everywhere.
they had, like, the Aztecs, and, like, it was just gnarly. It's gnarly everywhere. So, I mean, this is just our experience growing up here in Hawaii, and I know that there's experiences of all races, of all different places that have experienced what we have.
Yeah.
And I think to single out any one race and say that these people matter and they were mistreated and this and that is wrong. And that
I
just
agree.
creates racism in itself. And it just keeps dividing and, like, putting humans into groups when we are just one group.
Yep.
Yeah.
Humankind.
Yeah.
We are the humankind. We are the human race. And we need to learn to love everybody.
And that's what growing up here, and I'm going to say, like, it was painful, being the outcast and being bullied, and because of my color. But I'm grateful for it at the same time because I've learned so much and I can see
Yeah.
issues like this on such a deeper level,
Yeah.
and, like, away from all of, like, the media and people's emotions, and see it for, like, what it is.
And if you do have a feeling of racism towards another group, I would suggest you, like, the best and most growing thing for you, for a person who is racist against another group, go and spend a good amount of time with that other group. Like, if you're black and you hate white people, go move somewhere or spend months where there's only white people
Yeah.
and learn to, like, be a part of that community.
Yeah.
And love them.
Yeah.
And receive love from them and know that people are just people. It doesn't matter what color you are. And if you're white and you've been hated by black people or vice versa, go live with them. Like, grow. That's just my suggestion.
I bet you there could be places where it would be pretty dangerous, though. Some people are
Totally.
dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe just choose the neighborhood.
I mean, it was dangerous for me. I got the crap kicked out of me choke times, but that's okay. I'm still here. I mean, I'm sure I have a lot of mental stuff going on and very lot of what is called brain damage because of it, but whatever.
I'm not gonna disagree.
No,
This joke.
100%, brah.
I just want to say, like, having our kids growing up here and being a part of this, communities where there is still racism towards, white kids and white families is, I just want to teach my kids that they don't have to prove anything.
Yeah.
They don't have to talk about being Hawaiian or what their last name is. And they can just, like, love them and just try and, like, brush it off and,
Yeah. And
not hold on any resentment or anger and just try and educate them and say, like, where it stems from, but be confident in who you are.
Yeah.
And, say, like, this happens to all, like, different races all around the world depending on where you're from.
Yeah. And that it's okay. Like you said, not to hold resentment, not to hate the people. Just be like, brah, I know what to pray for.
Yeah.
I know how to pray for this dude.
Yeah.
I know how to pray for his family.
Yeah.
I know how to love them. I know how to try and be more like Christ and be like, brah, okay, Lord, like, what would you do? And do that.
Yeah.
Well, that was a heavy episode.
I know. So thank you guys for listening. Started off kind of, I felt like in my first few minutes I was kind of heated, but yeah.
But yeah, that's why this is good to talk about, because it's so it's so raw and real, like what we went through, and it did create a lot of emotion, growing up, and it taught us to be a certain way, whether good for us or bad for us, beneficial for society or not. Like, I was a wreck for a lot of my life. Like, for the first 20 years of my life, I was from whenever you can start making decisions, so maybe like from 12 to 21.
Basically until he met me.
Yeah, straight up. No joke. Like, I was on a rampage, and I'm so grateful that I grew out of that, because there's so many people who don't. And
we're still growing and learning
so much,
and
still
recognizing
growing so much.
things that are in us from our experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And we just love you guys, brah, no matter what color. Straight up, I don't care.
Me neither.
There's one race, the human race. And that's what matters, is to love each other more and more, and learn to figure out how we can get out of this crazy, wicked, just world that we can get sucked into. Like, we're at war. Like, our country's at war with a country that we're not near. We're not close to this other country. What are we doing?
Let's not get into it.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next week.
But yeah, no, I gotta finish. Like, there's no reason to be fighting. We're at a place in this world where we got AI, raw. Like, we should be smart enough. If we can create stuff like that, we should be smart enough to figure out how important it is to love everyone. That's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get that done.
We'll see you guys next week.
God bless.
God bless.